morning, boys and girls. Today is Saturday, -7 Celsius in Napanee. Feels pretty cold, like your fingers start freezing, but the outside looks nice. I'm just warming up my engine. It's 9:26 in the morning. I just went inside, gonna brush my teeth, got some coffee. So Napanee, which is just west of Kingston on Highway 401. And the plan is to reach my yard in Cambridge and then tomorrow get to the border. And the customer, the buyer, is meeting me there Monday. So we're having some issues with Michigan, because evidently Monday morning 6 a.m. the spring weight restrictions begin, and this is oversized overweight load, so it has to be parked somewhere for 3 to 4 weeks, maybe 2 weeks. Each year is different. Michigan, they just post notices on their website. Yeah, I thought I would be delivering Monday, but basically I gotta drop it and then come back, drop it near the border where we found a secure yard, and then come back when the thaw laws are lifted and deliver it in Michigan. So that was my quick update, and I'm parked next to a new Volvo, and all they did is, as usual, just change the lights. They changed the lights and the fender. Right, this is Andy Transport. But what gave me the idea why I decided to do a video in the first place, there's nothing to report, not much to report on my end, right? But I wanted to show you guys this rig over here, but it's too far. But anyway, it's I think it's a Trail King. It's this Quebec company, Bellemare. But what's interesting about this guy is that he has it's a regular 3-axle Kenworth, like 2 axles in the back, but then he has a tandem Jeep, and he has a flip box on top of the trailer, but it's flipped back, and he is still hooked to a tandem Jeep. Like the tandem Jeep is down on the ground. It's and I pay attention to this because I'm waiting for that flip box, right? And that one is 36 inches, and people tell me that so my neck, after I attach it, will be only 137, and people say that that's not enough for a Jeep. And then Fontaine makes this 81-inch flip box, and so it becomes 182, like the total, right? But that one is like probably like $10,000, and yet I see quite often, like this guy, he just has a regular neck, single piece neck on the front, and somehow he's still able to make turns and stuff like that. So it mostly depends, from what I can see, it depends on how long the neck on the Jeep is. That's why some of these Jeeps, they have their own flip box, and so you can position the fifth wheel so that even a short neck is enough, And I'm just thinking that 137 might be okay for a single Jeep, in the future, as long as that Jeep has a long neck, or like this guy. But you see, like this guy, I don't think he has 8 feet between the rear axles. And he has a tandem Jeep because he's just a regular 3-axle truck, right? But I already have a pusher axle. But also what's cool here is that because he's from Quebec, and so Quebec and Ontario, they recognize these D signs, So if you have the D sign, which is obligatory in Quebec, then when you enter Ontario, you don't have to take it down, but you must change it to the American sign when you leave Canada. And this guy has a beam trailer. I see there's a bunch of timbers in the middle because they cannot work without them. So it's just a beam, like very narrow trailer. And I guess clearly he either delivered something big or he's on his way to the delivery. And so as you can see, he has 3, 5, he has 8 axles. Oh, and another thing in Quebec is you see where his D sign, I don't know, it's probably far, but in the back where his D sign is, actually that's how they do it. They just put that kind of like a placard, and on the other side it says oversized load in English. And so when they cross the border, they just flip that sign. So it takes them a second because it's positioned like that. It has like a couple of posts. So very neat, except I just don't like it that it catches all that air, you know, as the guy is driving. But also right there, they have a light. So yeah, okay, on the left near the license plate, they have a light on its own little pole, because Quebec does not recognize lights in the bumper. Like another weird thing they decided to be different in, as opposed to everybody else on the planet. So you can have flashing lights in the bumper. It's up to you if you like, you know, disco music, right? Many lights, but they wanted to have that one. I think it's basically the light in Quebec, the flashing light must be, I forgot what it is, like 3 feet, 4 feet, but it's about 2 feet above the bumper, maybe 1.5 feet above the bumper. And all the trailers you see in Quebec, the RGN trailers, they all have that little pole in the back, with or without the light. I think that light is detachable, but it's all hooked up. It's all hooked up to the wiring. I'm not sure where the switch is, but like it's just, you know, 2 neighboring jurisdictions, right? Like Ontario and Quebec. And there's so many things that are different. And I would actually, a friend of mine knows a guy inside the Ministry of Transportation of Quebec, and I asked him about the maximum weights, if we can finally get something in English from a government official, because all the info is in French. And so this guy asked me for my axle spacings, axle ratings, you know, the tire ratings, stuff like that. So I sent him everything, like for my trailer, like as if I'm hooked up to my IGN trailer. I said, I want to know how much will you give me in Quebec if I run like this with a pusher axle and 4 axles in the back. And turns out these guys, I think they like longer trucks, just like in the States. They don't like it that I have 14 feet 5 inches between axle 1 and axle 2, the pusher. And so they give me 20,000 on the front, but on the pusher and the drives, they only give me barely, it's like just under 50,000, like 49.5. It's like 17 something per axle. So what? Basically 10,000 pounds less than what, you know, normally you get. Like you normally get 20K per axle, right? So steer axle is 20K, pusher and drives are for some reason, let's say 50. And then in the back, the quad, because I have 60-inch spacing and my tires are regular 275 tires, they're giving me 70,000 pounds on 4 axles. So I said, okay, wait a second. So why is it so little? How do I increase it? What if I change tires? Because I see over here in Quebec, they all run these wider tires, which is in metric 305. You know, 305 millimeters is the width of the tire. And Quebec gives you much more weight. So I told him, what if I put 305 tire on the trailer? The guy says, well, then your weight on the quad increases from 70 to 79,000. You gain, it was like 79 something. So basically, yeah, 9. You gain 9,000 pounds if you use 305 tire as opposed to 275 tire. But also what these guys like, and what I don't have in Quebec, they like the last axle, they like it to be 72 inches. Like 60, 60, 72, you know? Like crazy. I'm just saying that the rules, two neighboring provinces, the rules are, you know, so, like in Ontario, right? I get, on this, the same setup, I get 79 in the back with the same existing tires. I get almost 60 over there, and 20. Basically, I get 71,000 kgs, which is what, 156 gross. So Quebec is weird. They like Jeeps. They like longer spacings. They like longer trucks. So they're more American in their rules than Ontario, where Ontario like shorter trucks, you know. So anyway, I just thought I would point this out, you know, because I always enjoy looking at these multi-axle rigs, just hoping that maybe one day I'll be driving something like that, you know.